This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers Talk. Let me tell you, it's another crap, miserable day here in the Calgary area. Let me tell you, deliveries were no fun. What's that line on Family Guy? How's the weather, Ollie? It's raining sideways. Well, that's exactly what it was doing out there on deliveries for us today in the truck. So that was lovely by all means of the word, except for the actual definition, if you get where I'm going. So with that, a nice weekend starting hot chocolate, and we get on to Oilers news after taking the day off yesterday to, well, recoup and enjoy the indoor weather, I guess you could say. So news out of Oilers land, I guess, which way do you want to go with it? Which is the more actual impactful news? I think we'll start just based on I know what you're clicking for and I know what you're not coming for. So we'll start with the good old news on the Wichita Thunder. The Wichita Thunder are extended through 2019-2020 as the Oilers' ECHL affiliate. Now what this means, it's not much special for the Oilers realistically. That's the thing. It's an ECHL affiliate. It doesn't mean that we have another place to send our top tier prospects to take their next or their last step to the NHL. The ECHL is kind of that middle ground where you have those fill-out roster players in terms of forwards and defensemen. But the thing with the Wichita Thunder, this is where it gets really fun. I'll read you the press release and then we'll get going into what I'm trying to get at. The Edmonton Oilers have extended their ECHL affiliation with the Wichita Thunder for 2019-2020. The Oilers started an ECHL affiliation with Wichita 2 seasons ago in 17-18. Under the affiliation agreement, the Oilers will be able to designate players within their development system for assignment to the Thunder. The club will also be composed of players who are signed to NHL and AHL contracts in addition, sorry, cat's biting my hands, to those on ECHL contracts under agreement with the Thunder. This quote, "On behalf of Ken Holland and the Edmonton Oilers, we're very excited to extend our affiliation agreement with the Wichita Thunder," said Bill Scott, Director of Salary Cap Management and Assistant to the President of Hockey Operations. "We believe in new head coach Bruce Ramsey to develop our prospects in a positive, winning environment that will lead to success for the Thunder and Oilers. Wichita has been a terrific partner and we are pleased to continue our relationship together, and this will be the third year that they are affiliated with the Oilers and Condors and held a previous affiliation with Wichita from 80-82 with the Wichita Wind in the original CHL." So there you go. That covers that from the Oilers' perspective. Now, what does this mean? I can read you a press release that really is lacking on details as to what this means. The key words they said is bring up the prospects in a positive, winning environment. Well, I'm sorry. When you're talking CHL to AHL jump, a lot of prospects don't really spend much time in the ECHL if they're bona fide NHL players to come. That's kind of the thing, right? Obviously, yes, I'm not downplaying the role of the ECHL. Come on. You've got guys that have come up and absolutely dominated from the ECHL to the AHL, have been captains in the NHL, have absolutely done terrific things in the NHL. However, in the Oilers system, it's not really the way it goes so far over the course of Wichita. It's more so what happens in Wichita is the development of our young goaltenders, as you saw last year with Dylan Wells and Shane Starrett, as you saw this year with Stuart Skinner and Dylan Wells at times. And that's where the ECHL really thrives, is developing young goaltenders just out of junior or leaving college, whatever the case may be, giving them that real pro experience, that pro atmosphere that they need to adjust their game from the kids to the men. That's essentially what I see the ECHL as. When it comes to the Edmonton Oilers organization, you've got to look at it clearly and simply stated as a way to develop young goaltenders into players capable of doing damage in the AHL and then in the NHL, because everybody knows it ain't no secret we need an NHL caliber goalie as a backup and for years to come after Mikko Koskinen leaves us. So with that said, that's the news there. That's not the news you're coming for. You're coming for the other part of the title, in which James Neal, the Edmonton Oilers, what the heck's all that about? Well, Elliotte Friedman kind of spelled that the Oilers kicked tires on it. You can use any analogy you want. I'll use kick tires on the idea of acquiring James Neal at a point this season, and probably have done it once or twice this offseason as well. Once under Keith Gretzky again, and probably once under Ken Holland, just as an I'll get a gauge kind of deal, right? Just feel the market. And the interesting part of all that is not so much that anything's imminent, as Elliotte Friedman is adamant to point out. It's another avenue in which whose name comes up. That's the thing. Whose name comes up when you start talking about big contracts for underperforming guys. It's Milan Lucic again on his birthday today, getting swirled around in possible trade rumors. Now, okay, the real impact of this, it's probably going to be the smoke meets fire kind of deal that we had with the Louis Eriksson trade discussions, right? Is all of a sudden you've got a couple, something like this comes out a week later. Ooh, actually, hold on, there was something discussed, and then it fizzles out, and then 3-4 weeks later, oh my God, this was something concrete, and then it is what it is. The interesting part, though, because it is what it is with the Milan Lucic for Louis Eriksson deal, now you have the possibility being floated by the Edmonton Journal, Elliotte Friedman, whoever you want to say is the ownership of this idea, in which a three-way trade between the Canucks, Flames, and Oilers deal the bad contracts around and make something out of nothing, potentially. That's essentially what I argued with the Louis Eriksson deal for Milan Lucic, is it's two GMs gung-ho on making a deal. That's as simple as I could have put it, and that's as simple as this would be. It's just a shuffle of the cards and redistribute to each team. It's an expansion draft or a dispersal draft without a dispersal draft. That's what you're looking at if you trade those three for each other around a circle, triangle actually, between Edmonton, Calgary, and Vancouver. So, where does that leave us? That leaves us in an interesting position heading into the weekend, because now we have something else to chew on all weekend, as well as the fact that, you know what, it's getting to be that time of year. You look at it, right? It's that time of year where the crazy might be not so crazy. The mundane might actually be boring to a point that why even bother with it? But in fact, the most boring thing that could come up might be the most exciting, and the most crazy thrown out there thing might be the realest thing we see for the next 2 weeks. Essentially, we've got 2 weeks until the draft. We're 2 weeks out at this point, and what does that mean, right? Like, all of this comes into play at some point. The Jesse Puljujärvi stuff, the Taylor Hall stuff, it all pools together, and it just shows an absolute, I don't know, like a fever pitch of Oilers fans trying to crave something that's not there. That's essentially what it is, right? Like, the excitement level for something that's not there is reaching a fever pitch. And what I mean by that is as simple as we're excited for next year, but it's a long time. We've got June, July, August, September until something comes of hockey in the Edmonton Oilers uniform once again of substance. But right now, you've got nothing. You got to look forward, and looking forward, we've been doing that since about February. So that's why it's just everything. Anything that comes out like this is newsworthy, is discussion worthy, because we sit here and we have nothing better to discuss realistically, and we've already discussed everything since February. So it's just a matter, everything takes a stake higher every time something comes out at this point. So a James Neal thing might be absolutely minor, something to sweep under the rug like Elliotte Friedman tries to explain. However, you sit here and it's another thing that we discuss for today, maybe discuss tomorrow, put in the back of our brains, and discuss 3 weeks down the road. Guys, I'm Tyson. That's about it I've found for news so far. I'll probably have another video up hopefully tonight. covering TSN's mock draft rankings of some players. And that'll be where I leave you guys. Tyson, Dolynny TV. Don't forget, as you're scrolling down to the comments to talk, if you haven't subscribed and you've watched 2 or 3 videos already, come on, get on it. Let's go. I want to make sure you're getting the videos and you're getting in the comments as fast as possible. Best way to do that is subscribe. Guys, my cat's scratching at the door. I am up on out of here to enjoy my hot chocolate.